such an asshole.
Well, we have a request that's near and dear to my heart, and that is my absolute 100% bona fide USDA certified hatred and contempt for Wyoming. Hi, Aaron. I enjoy your stories. I was wondering if you could talk about Wyoming, the good, the bad, the terrible, the people, etc. I haven't read Reconnaissance Man yet, which is linked down below. If you guys are trying to figure out where to live in the United States, may I recommend you get the book Reconnaissance Man, because you're going to spend thousands of dollars meandering through the country on hotels and gas and flights. Why don't you cut a couple $1,000s out of your budget and save your money and skip places I've already been? I don't know if it's on Audible. It is. I've enjoyed your work. Very entertaining, eye-opening as well. So, all right. So I'll give you the quick, real background. Man, I wonder if I'm coming in hot. So 10 years ago, it will be August 20th, I think was my last day of W-2 employment at this crap bank in Wyoming with crap people who got not student loan bailouts, government bailouts back in the day. It'll be August. 10 years ago, I had a job, my last quote, real job in Wyoming. And I was sick and tired of Minnesota. I would say Wyoming is slightly better than Minnesota, slightly, to show you how bad Minnesota was. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of a place where, frankly, white people hate themselves, traffic, high taxes, and horrible cold. And that's Minnesota. So Wyoming. Oh, okay. And so the good part about Wyoming, there's some good parts to it. It's an absolutely beautiful state. You got a ton of mountain ranges. Now, the west and the southern part are a little bit more tundra-y, and they're not that pretty. But once you get to the middle part of the state, and certainly the northwest quadrant, that's where Yellowstone is. And the Grand Tetons. It's absolutely beautiful. There's fossils out there, a lot of geology out there for you rock hounds. Great motorcycle riding. Depending on where you are, the summers are nice. Buffalo, Sheridan, great little towns to be in. And it, for all the Wyoming, the Indians still out there, they got electricity. They have the internet. It's modern day technology. You can be there. And if you want to be left the F alone, Wyoming is a great place. A lot of people do that. They would build a cabin or a ranch out of town, and they go into town to get their supplies, and then they yeet off, and you don't see them for another 2-3 months. So there's wonderful hiking, snowmobiling, motorcycle riding, mountain climbing, fishing, hunting. What else was there? It's a big playground for the individualist. Oh, and there's no state income taxes, and they're white people that like each other. They're kind of not necessarily proud to be white, but they don't, oh my God, I'm a Minnesotan white person. How quickly can I slash my wrist? Wait, I got to work more to pay taxes, so I feel good about myself. So Wyoming doesn't have that. They're proud. We're Wyomingans, and it's almost too proud. Like, no, you're going way too far because they're not that much to be proud of, but they don't hate themselves. So at least you don't have that detestable thing, gun culture and no state income taxes. So it's very free in those regards. And if you are an introvert and you want to be left alone, great place to go. Great place to go. The bad. Okay, there's no one out there. There is no culture. Yes, there's culture. There's Wyoming culture, cowboy culture. But when I say there's no, I mean, there's Casper and Gillette, and then a score of other piddly little towns. Jackson Hole is not considered part of Wyoming. That's where all the liberal rich people go from California to build their houses. All right, so that's kind of not Wyoming. And that's just, I mean, if you've been to Telluride or Vail or some other pretentious, arrogant place that needs to be nuked because of all the smug liberal people who have like inherited money, that's all Jackson Hole has become. So that you could get that a dime a dozen, Sedona, that kind of thing. But it's cold. There are no people, very little population. So if you're looking for culture in terms of like good restaurants or theater, or I mean, yeah, they got the rink-a-dink thing. Any kind of like culture or group activity that require a critical mass of people, it's not there. You're not going to have a jazz club in Wyoming like you got jazz clubs in Chicago. Also, another thing is the wind and the weather. It's not as cold as a lot of other states, but the wind, especially in the southern part of the states and the eastern part, just constantly blows. And you don't think, well, okay, so it's windy. Yeah, but if in your face, imagine having a constantly nagging wife in your face. That's Wyoming wind. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't relent. And so it's just it wears on you. It does get cold. Certainly does get below zero at times. So that for you Southerners, that would not be tolerable. Or people like me who just have self-respect, the cold is no, no, it's not worth it. And then, you kind of, unless you're an outdoorsman or an outdoors woman, there's nothing else to do except drinking. There, like I said, there's very little. I mean, you could go snowmobiling. That's certainly a winter activity. I think there's ice fishing. There's not that many lakes out there. But unless you better be an outdoorsman, you better love the outdoors because there is nothing else to do. The towns are just a bunch of people who are drunk. Because that's the only thing to do. Um, the women are not pretty, so the men don't work as hard as they might. And there's no innovation or creation or culture. You're not going to go to the bar to get the girlsa. So it's a very, as I've gotten older, I've started to believe this more and more that if you want any kind of vibrant community or culture, your women better be hot because that'll inspire men to grow the beautiful peacock feathers and become the reddest red cardinal. And society will show that. Wyoming, you could see it. Like the houses are not kept in repair or upkeep. The men are not exactly something to write home about either. They're ladies. Now, they're real men in the fact that they work real jobs, like no joke. I mean, you're talking to real cowboys, ranch hands, mining is huge, their oil, that kind of thing. So these guys are real men, but they still got their guts. Ain't none of them looking like Cary Grant. And not a lot of, and you're not exactly talking guys who are, reading some kind of philosophy. They're not great Greek for consumers of Marcus Aurelius or Plato. They're gonna listen really basic, boring people. Listening to their country songs, which if you ever listen to country, the lyrics are horribly stupid, horribly simple. That's what they like. Little red cup, oh man, I heard that song a million times. So the women are not pretty. The men they're not bad. We'll get to people in general. I'm talking from are there girls there? Define girl. There's some trans gals that are prettier. To be perfectly honest. Oh, one thing I will say, because there's nothing else to do but drink. They have drive-through liquor stores. Those are kind of cool. They got a lot of dive bars. I do like that about Wyoming. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, the bad is unless just there's nothing to do. Your employment prospects are somewhat minimal unless you're gonna like work on the oil rigs or the more of the mining, the mines, ranching. Um, and yeah, there's just nothing, especially when winter comes. Holy cow, there's nothing to do. And so there's that. Now the ugly is obviously the people and the culture, and I don't mean their culture of cowboys and country songs. No, I'm talking about the people, and that generally is Wyoming. It's a beautiful state physically, ruined by the people. The people are. I'll describe it in one way. And I'll talk about the drug culture later. But they are the dumbest people I've ever ran into. Now, that may be biased because of the bank I was working at. We were a low tier bank, and we just had the most degenerate pieces of crap ever come in asking for loans. And the bankers would entertain these loans because that's how dumb they were too. So I might be biased there. But even in the culture when I'm going out, the only time I've ever pulled my gun on people was in Wyoming twice. Twice. So you go do your work, fine. I'm done babysitting the morons who need a loan for their pickup truck. But then you go out and people are drunk, they're on meth or whatever other drug. The men are some of them were overly protective of the women, even the women they weren't dating. Talking to that girl for? Because she's the bartender. I need a drink. What's my woman? Well, good for you. Well, how am I not supposed to talk to your woman if I need to order a drink from her? Honest to God story. And it just oh, half the girls are pregnant. Natrona County High School again. This is what the rumor was going around. Natrona County is where Casper's the largest town in Wyoming. And half the girls they rumored to be pregnant before they graduated. And it is. And it's kind of, and that's where I came up with Wyoming. You'll learn to hate white people too. Because it's just a degenerate welfare state, essentially. And the only reason Wyoming votes Republican is because of guns, as far as I could tell. But if you look at them, you're like, you're no different. You're just all on welfare. You're collecting your government checks. You live in your trailer. You don't pick up after yourselves. You're not responsible. Everyone's getting pregnant. It's just you have cowboy hats on and you're not in the projects of Chicago. That's the only difference. There's not a lot of tall buildings. You have a cowboy hat, but it's the same thing. And I'm pretty sure when I was working in banking, I did get a pretty good representative or representation of the average finances in Wyoming. They're just financial parasites. Maybe the fancy rich ranchers would go to the higher end banks. Maybe somewhere in the entire state of Wyoming, someone actually paid back a loan. I don't know. It might have happened. Would have made the news. Bob Bobson paid back his loan. Wyomingans shocked you could do this. But it's just a degenerate culture. They drink, they do drugs, people get fat, but just add a cowboy twang and wear a hat. And I don't know, maybe you go sledding and you go, it's a snowmobile and you go sledding. You going sledding? No, I'm not going sledding. I'm working to pay back my loans. You might want to do that so you could pay the loan that we lent you so you could pay for your sled. Oh, I'll get to it. I mean, how many ways do you want to see the ugly? No one's on time. I mean, you think contractors are bad wherever you live. Go to Wyoming. Oh my God. And this is where I make the joke like, well, when you're done fornicating with your sister or the cattle or the hogs or your mother, depends on what part of the country or state you're in. You know, that's hog fornication. In the Northwest, you fornicate with your mom. In the Southwest, it's your sister. And over in Cheyenne, it's the pigs. Okay. And you gotta go up to them. Hey, Jessup. Yeah, I know that you're making your pig squeal over there, and you can't tell if that's your wife or your livestock. But you mind getting over here and finishing the roof before that storm comes in? And it's just imagine every stereotype your Marxists, ignorant leftists, and liberals on the coast talk about flyover country and American Hicks. And it's right. It's true. They've never seen it. They never stopped by. But it's pretty much true. And the only other place where I was like, I got to get out of this town because the people are not competent enough to do the basic things I need them to do was Eastern Kentucky. And no, there was no crisis. There was no problem. It's just when you do motorcycle riding, there's a couple more logistical issues, like range, can I get gas, weather, stuff like that. And I was going down to visit a buddy in Raleigh. And I had to go through Kentucky. And I pulled off because the advertisement was the original KFC, the first Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm like, this is where the Colonel was. Oh, you got to pull off for that. Hell yeah, that's more important than the national park. I want to see the original KFC. And once I got off the interstate, man, I'm looking at the gas station, disheveled. Only a couple lights were on the different pumps. Everyone's driving slow. I get to the KFC. There's a line outside the door. You get inside the KFC. They're talking to the locals instead of processing the orders. And I'm thinking, like, this is the place where Jessup, whose mother is also his sister, who is also his wife, is going to hit me with his uninsured pickup truck because he's high on meth. And I'm going to be crippled. And I turned around, got out of there quickly, and I went to the gas station. And it was one of those deals where, the credit card wasn't working. And I'm thinking, I better just pay for a couple gallons of gas with cash and get the F out of here. So I paid for that. I got it. And that's kind of like Wyoming. It's that level of stupid, that level of drug addiction, that level of unawareness, that level of non-existent. Like, why are you alive? This is your life, huh? That's your life, huh? Wow. Okay. And then you kind of get a little bit of ghetto culture in there too, where you have your life is pointless, completely pointless. So what do people with no life value in their life? The dumbest crap, like things. And I don't mean like things, but like, obviously the pickup trucks, or I guess I don't know if this is common in the ghetto community. Like grills, is grills still a thing now? Somebody could tell me that. Um, the truck nuts that I always laugh and joke about, and they get, their sleds. They get the nice sled, and then just boots. And that's kind of even high end, assuming you can afford a sled or a truck. And the petty, you disrespecting me? Like, no, I had no respect for you in the first place. Like, we're talking a null level of respect. And you're insulting people. They get drunk. And if you just look at them funny, like this, if you have something going on in your life, you're unaware of what microscopic things people value because they have nothing else going on. Again, talking to the bartender to order a drink, and it's some guy's woman. That kind of, very possessive of their women. You women are property out there, but whether you realize it or not. And that's the ugly. That is the ugly. The people who just, like any other place tomorrow, they could stop having kids out of wedlock, stop having kids early. Everyone gets a job, or they go to school, or they go to the military. Say, hey, we're going to clean and pick up the place. We're going to stop doing the drugs. Maybe the people, I don't know what culture would form, because I guess it would just exacerbate the good qualities of Wyoming culture, which is the cowboys and rodeos. Those are actually fun if you ever want to. But it's this. Well, if women got prettier, I think people might pick some things up, but that ain't going to happen. That just isn't going to happen. But yeah, man, it's the people. And if you go to Wyoming, you better damn well bring a gun. And thankfully they allow for open carry, but you damn well better bring a gun. Because you don't know what drunk meth head got pissed off because you sat in his chair at his bar. And a lot of guys, I've had a couple, I'm black, and I was wondering, I'm like, are they going to, I heard it's really dangerous about, are they going to pick on me because I'm black? No, they're not going to pick on you because they're going to pick on you because you're an outsider. They're going to maybe even threaten you because they know you're not, it's not, okay, the giveaway is you're black. And the interesting, funny thing about the black community, what little there is, if you see a black guy in Wyoming or a black woman, they're usually highly compensated. They're an engineer, they're a doctor. Because I saw that there were two black guys in Casper, and they both had really nice cars. I'm like, what the hell? What? Why is he here? And well, then you find out, oh yeah, that because there's only two black guys in Casper. Oh yeah, he's a surgeon or a doctor or whatever. The other guy, I think, was a civil engineer. You know him. Everyone knows him. I guess it was another drawback of Wyoming culture. But it's not because you're black. They know now that you're not from there. And the towns are so small. If you come, there was rumor across new guy came into town, new banker, new guy from the city. He doesn't know the Wyoming way about sister fornicating and pig fornicating. We'll teach him the ways. And people like, oh, you're the new guy. Yeah, I am the new guy. And I don't know if there's an initiation or a hazing. They're testing you. By that time, I was like, dude, shut the F up. But you're just not them. And that's where there might be some hazing or raising, which is all right. A little bit of testing and joking is one thing. But they almost got, it's not that they know you, they just sense it. They just sense it. And you'll be sitting there and, well, the old story I talk about, I'm working at a bank. Guess what? You wear khakis for business casual. And then this hot girl comes up, starts hitting on me. And I'm just like, "What the hell is going on? There's something wrong here." One, it's a hot girl. Of course, she was a single mom. And it turned out, the bunch of the I don't even kinda call I don't wanna call them cowboys because that indicates he got a job, but a bunch of the hicks down there with cowboy hats, wanted to see if I was gay because I was wearing khakis. You wear khakis and they think you're gay. It's like, "Aren't you gonna come up to me and ask me for money later on?" So, they're just I know someone told me I was wrong about Wyoming being the dumbest state in the union. Like, "Well, they actually got an IQ of 103." I'm like, "Well, then there must be some ranchers far away from the cities or the towns." But the people are effectively, the people you're gonna run into are the dumbest people you're gonna run into, bar maybe Eastern Kentucky and West Virginia. Bar that maybe, right? And that's it. That's it. So, great place to visit. Skip Gillette, skip Casper, maybe you have to drive through it. Go do your tour of the Grand Tetons, go see Old Faithful, go to Yellowstone, look at the thing, look at the buffalo, look at the bears, and get the hell out. And I absolutely would not move to Wyoming at all. If you're a young man or young woman, "Oh, I got gun culture, I wanna be a cowboy." There's other places, and you know what? I'd pay the taxes, alright? Go to Montana, go to Idaho, go to Utah. Obviously, I'm in South Dakota, west side South Dakota. But Wyoming, just avoid it. Just avoid it. It's like a hot chick that's got herpes, it's a beautiful looking thing, but it's tainted. It's disgusting. It's toxic. So there you go. All right, we got any super chats? Got a couple super chats. Hand clogs $2 morning, Cappy. What teachers are I don't know what that means, man. I don't know what that means. Fedoid 2, Wyoming, where the men are men and the sheep are scared. Yep. And the women are women too. Or women are men too. John G, $5 truck driver and oil gas guy here. I don't need people or restaurants or anything. I have made hundreds of thousands and enjoyed Wyoming a lot. Right. If you want to be left alone, great place to be. Great place to be. Yeah, if you don't want restaurants or anything like it's heaven. If you want to be left alone and you want to be out in the middle of the mountains and you like the snow and the cold and you want to hunt and you want to hike and you want to snowmobile, great place as long as you don't have any human interaction. You know, but it is the second you got to deal with the people, and you're gonna have to, dude. You think Wyoming? You think a Walmart in whatever state you're in is bad? Go to the West Side Casper Walmart. Go there. Holy cow! Shink shink. Dug, 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 dug. Need more bullets. Dug, 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 dug. Is that it? Thomas Jericho, $5. The only worthwhile cities in Wyoming are the ones that are basically Colorado. No, Laramie and Cheyenne. No, you're wrong. Cheyenne is somewhat cosmopolitan, and they have a little bit of culture there because they're basically a suburb of Denver, kind of a distant suburb, but it's the capital. So you'll occasionally see a thin and attractive woman there. A girl might wear heels there and have the right to do it. But Laramie? Have you been to Laramie? No, dude, you don't want to go to Laramie. I know it's the college town. All right. That's it. You go to Laramie, it's disheveled. It's your standard crap Wyoming town. No one picks up the crap. Everything looks like crap. The women are not that hot, but it's also on the high plains. I think that, what is the elevation? I want to say it's 7,000 feet. It's way up there. It's cold and miserable. No trees. What's the elevation? 7,100 feet. No way, man. No way. Oh, no, you don't want to go to Laramie. Trust me. If you want to go to towns, Cody, Buffalo, Sheridan, you want to be left alone, go to 10 Sleep. Maybe Graybull. And I'm not that familiar with the far west side of Wyoming. but then you're starting to get into the national park area. But yeah, I would no, not Laramie, not Laramie. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. There you go. Yeah, I mean, by all here. Well, I'm kind of interested in Wyoming. Go to Wyoming in winter. Just go to Wyoming in winter. I don't care what town you pick. Go there in winter. You'd be like, oh, this is the town folk, huh? Okay, well, now go live in your cabin hut, far, far away. And you better want to be an introvert. You better, because and if you got your cabin, and it's a nice little hot fire, you can go shoot some elk. Cool. But otherwise, God Almighty, don't interact with the people. All right, that's it. Link below is Reconnaissance Man. That is a book you should read to figure out where you want to live in the United States. Read that first before you drop the money on a flight, and you'll thank me for it later. Thomas Jericho, $2. No state income tax though. A high sales tax though. Yeah, but what do you buy? That's as a minimalist, you want to fine sales tax. Sales tax the hell out of me. I don't care. I don't buy anything. Obviously, All right, there you go. See you guys later. Toodles.